Hello, welcome back. This is a video over Geogebra Assignment 7. And let's start out in a new tab. And we can either type in geogebra.org /geometry, or you can simply just click the link that's in Google Classroom. Let's go ahead and first make sure that we are signed in. And then let's go to Settings and let's click on Show Axes. And let's go back and there and click Show Grid and Major Grid Lines. Okay. And so up over here where we've been using our tools, you have your geometry tools, but then in this button, you can click on Algebra. Okay. And so this allows us to do algebraic things within, GeoGebra, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on in this first box here, and I'm going to type in the equation y equals 3x plus 5. Okay? And what this does is it creates a line on my graph with a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of 5, okay? Which is what's denoted here. Now, I'm going to now arrow down, and when I click down below, I have to click it again so that my cursor goes in it. And I'm going to type in another equation. I'm going to type in y equals 3x minus 8. Okay, and this equation here pops up, and this one, also has a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of -8. Okay, so I'm going to click down, and I'm going to create two more lines. Okay, and these lines, I'm just going to type in y equals 4. And what that does is that gives me a line with a slope of 0 through +4 on my y-axis, okay? And so when you just have y equals 4, that's going to be a horizontal line through 4. The next one I want to do is I'm going to type in y equals -2, okay? And on this one, we have a horizontal line through -2. Again, my slope is 0, but we have a y-intercept of -2. All right, so I'm good on that part here. And I'm going to go back to tools, okay? And so what I want to do is I want to create a polygon. And let's zoom in on this. I'm going to move so that we're zoomed in appropriately. And I'm going to click on the polygon button. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot points at each of my intersections. So when you look at this figure, when you have two sets of parallel lines that intersect each other, you create a four-sided figure from here, okay? And let's zoom in and make sure we get right on there. And so click each of these points and make sure that they are the exact intersection. All right, and so what we've done is we've created this four-sided figure, and it's called a parallelogram, okay? And let's first go ahead and move these points out real quick. And just make sure they're out of the way and they're not inside of our figure. Okay, and so I'm going to zoom in here, and you got to be really careful to make sure that you're actually on those intersections. All right, so let's make sure that point A is where it's supposed to be, and then let me make sure we're on the move function. Let's make sure with point B as well. So let's zoom in. All right, that one looks good. Point C looks good. All right, and then point D looks good as well. All right, so let's zoom out. So we appear to be good, appear to have created the intersections. It's kind of hard doing that sometimes, and you just want to make sure that you do actually have those intersections. Otherwise, your answers to my questions are going to be wrong. So let's come over here and let's go to measure. Let's go back all the way down and let's click the more button. And let's go back up to measure, okay? Because I want to measure the slope of each of these lines, okay? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on each of these lines here and here. All right, and then I'm going to click slope for this line and this line. Okay, and what I know is once we create these lines, we're able to, this program will automatically calculate the slope for you. Okay, I'm going to go back up to my move button so I can move around. Notice that my two diagonal lines have slopes of +3. Okay, so 3 and 3. Notice that my horizontal lines have slopes of 0. All right, and I'm just going to move these in like that. Okay, so make sure that we've labeled the slope of each line. Okay, so opposite sides are parallel. Parallel lines have the same slope. Okay, so now let's come back in and let's calculate the distance. So let's measure the distance of each of these side lengths. So I'm going to, because we want to make sure that these are lines, they're going to go on forever. We have to find the distance between 2 points. So I'm going to click A to B. All right. I'm going to click from B to C. I'm going to click from C to D, and then D to A. Okay, and all those segments are listed. Those lengths are listed. Okay, and I'm going to move them so that they're on the outside of the figure. Okay, but it's important that we have those. Okay, because I'm going to ask you a question about those here in a minute. Okay, the last thing I want us to do is I want us to measure the angles, okay? Now, I can't just click on 2 lines because I have 4 angles that are created by these intersecting lines, all right? So what I want to do, if I wanted to measure angle A, the one that's inside my blue region here, I want to click the points B, A, D, and that's going to create that angle, and this measures to 71.6 degrees. If I wanted to measure angle B, all right, I would make sure I click angle again, and I would go from A, B to C, okay? And that'll measure, that angle is 108.4. All right, let's measure angle C, so let's click angle again, and I'm going to do B, C, D, all right, 71.6. And then click angle again because let's measure angle D, and we're going to do C, D, A. Okay, 108.4. Now I'm going to move these inside so that it looks nice. All right, so this is 71.6. This is 108.4, 71.6, 108.4. Okay, and so you can see all the side lengths and all the angles of this figure. Okay, and this is a parallelogram, so it has specific properties to it that you can see here. All right, I'm going to zoom out a little bit to show us what we should put in our text boxes. Okay, so let's scroll all the way down, go to media, and I'm going to click ABC, which is text. All right, and so I'm going to click up here. The first thing I want us to put in is our name. In this case, I would put Joseph. I'm going to do Joe Police. I'm going to put the date. Today is May 13th, 2020. So whatever day you're doing this, put that date. And then we're going to, this is assignment 7. Okay, and that's what we're going to name it. All right, so this, just doing this and answering, drawing the picture, this is going to give you a level 2 grade. Okay, so and you can just do C drawing, and that's good. All right, and let's click OK. All right, so that's the first thing that we want to do. If you're earning a 2 on this, okay, this is all you have to do. All right, let's talk about the second question. So, and I got to copy and paste this in. It takes too long for me to just type it. So I make these ahead of time. So I'm going to click text again. I'm going to click another point here. And for part 2, the question is, what is the relationship between side lengths of the parallelogram? Okay, so what I would want you to do in this is, I'm going to move this over a little bit, is answer this question in a text box, okay? And what's the relationship between the side lengths? Okay, so notice how you've listed all the side lengths, okay, what's the relationship? And be specific as to what you notice, okay? Let's go back up to, I'm going to zoom out again. I'm going to put question 3 up over here to the left. I'm going to copy and paste question 3. And so question 3 says, what is the relationship between the opposite angle measures of the parallelogram, all right? And remember, I click enter to move these out. Oh dear gosh. Okay. Click OK. All right, so the question is, what is the relationship between the opposite angle measures? So here's my angle for angle B. All right, what's the relationship between angle B and angle D? These are opposite angle measures of the parallelogram, okay? Let's come in, let's do another text box for question 4. And question 4 says, let me get it in here and paste it in. All right, and click OK. And it says, what is the relationship between angle measures that are next to each other? So angle A and angle D are next to each other. Angle A and angle B are next to each other. Angle B and angle C, these are next to each other. What's the relationship between those angles? Okay, and then the last one is your level 4 question. All right, and this is question 5. And so on this, this one, I want you to create a new parallelogram by using equations of lines. However, you may not use vertical lines or horizontal lines. Measure your sides and your angle measures of your parallelogram. All right, I'm going to move this down here. All right, and this is a level 4 question. All right. Okay, so create a new parallelogram, and you can send this to me as a separate link if you want, because we already have these drawn. And when you have all these lines in there, it's going to get really confusing. So, you know, and so that's what I want you to do. So recreate this. Use equations of lines. So I need to be able to go back into your algebra portion and see the lines that you drew and that you wrote to create this figure. Label the side lengths, label your angle measures of that parallelogram, okay? And that's all I need you to do for a level 4, all right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Whoop. Last thing, remember, you want to do is you want to share it. I would save this as assignment 7. Okay, make sure you click the shared button and not private, and let's click save. All right, and then it'll save, it'll do its thing, and then it will eventually give you a link. We want to copy that link and then go into Google Classroom and submit that link into me and turn in that assignment. So let me know if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you soon. See you later. Bye.